Hi everyone, Aiden here with etrailer, and today we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install this Leer soft roll-up tonneau cover on our 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 2500. Now, a tonneau cover is a great way to keep your stuff protected on the inside of your bed, both from prying eyes and the elements if it happens to rain. Now, no tonneau cover is weatherproof, but this will certainly help keep your stuff dry, so if you've got luggage or anything sensitive back here that you want to keep protected, this is a good way to do it. Plus, having the bed covered up will reduce drag and improve your fuel economy just a little bit. I've noticed it on my own truck quite a bit, so especially for a bigger truck like this, any little bit helps. Now, the reason I say this will keep your stuff somewhat secure is because a soft cover really isn't the best choice for security. Someone could cut through this vinyl pretty easily with a knife, especially a sharp one, and if someone really wanted to get there, they could. Whereas with a hard cover, especially some that are consisted of thick aluminum panels all throughout, that's gonna be a lot harder to break through, and it's gonna deter would-be thieves a lot more. So the way I break this down is if you're keeping valuables in the back of your bed, like tools, full time, go with a hard cover. It's not a risk that I would personally want to run, but if you're only hauling things in the back every now and again, but also want the convenience of the clean look, the covered bed, then a soft cover can certainly get the job done. My dad swears by his soft cover because really he doesn't have stuff in the back of the bed full time, but every now and again he wants that bit of protection, and especially here in Missouri where the winters can get kind of snowy, and having his truck parked outside, that snow will pile up on the tonneau cover and he can just brush it off, keeping everything inside nice and protected. Now, to operate the cover, you'll need to open up the tailgate and squeeze a release latch on the underside. There's one on the driver and the passenger side, so either one will do. And from there, all you have to do is roll the cover up. Now, as we roll it up, we'll see these aluminum bars. That's gonna help just provide a little more structure to this, so if it does rain, it does snow, and stuff starts to pile up on top of the cover, it doesn't sag in the middle as much, and just helps hold its shape. When the cover's fully opened, you can unbuckle this safety strap from the keeper, buckle it into the back and tighten it up to basically just keep this held in the open position. And this is gonna highlight, I think, one of the biggest benefits of a soft roll-up cover is just how small this is. It's really not gonna block the back window at all. It sticks out very minimally from the bulkhead. And even if we did have something larger in here that we were transporting, if it were shoved up against the front, it really wouldn't matter because this is soft, it can form around it, it can move around a little bit. It's not totally fixed and rigid like a hard roll-up cover would be, or especially like a retracting canister style cover, which would take up a lot of space in the bed too. So for functional use, leaving your bed open, that's really why I like these soft roll-up covers, and they don't take up much space. One of the downsides though is that it can be a little slower to operate and a bit more finicky when rolling and unrolling, because as of right now, it's not unrolling very clean, and you gotta make sure you do both sides evenly. Now, once you get it to the end and you latch it down, it's going to apply a fair amount of tension and give a much cleaner look, but you will have to go back through and fully secure the hook and loop on the sides and just make sure that all of that is making good contact in order for it to be fully closed properly. It's just a few extra steps you have to take with a cover like this that you wouldn't with something like a trifold or a canister style. Now, this may not apply to all Silverados, but if yours is equipped with the multi-pro tailgate or the handle to step up into the bed, this cover isn't gonna interfere with either of those. Now, obviously for this, you'd need the cover to be open, but that's likely the reason why you're using it is because the cover's open and you need something out of the bed. And it's just good to know that you don't have to sacrifice those features on your truck just to use the cover. The other thing is that this is a very simple, straightforward clamp-on installation. Doesn't make any modifications to the bed, and we're gonna show you how to do that right now. So the first thing you wanna do for your install is lay down this seal at the bulkhead of the truck. Now for us today, we're just putting this cover on for demonstration purposes. It's not going to permanently live on here, so this won't get installed because we have to peel this backing off of the adhesive and lay it down, and it'll just stay there. So for us, we're going to keep it rolled up and not use it, but you'd want to apply yours to the bulkhead, and if you've got a spray-in liner, just be mindful that it's probably not going to stick super well, so once you lay it down, press it firmly and try not to touch it until the cover is laying over top of it. Now we can set the rails up for the clamps. And this is what the loosely assembled clamp will look like. 2 pieces, one with teeth and one with this sort of T shape that'll go into the track on our side rails. And then the pieces of hardware, just a screw with a washer, and then just a screw underneath. And I've got all of this hardware pretty darn loose. That way you can adjust it and move it around as needed, but we'll take this to the side rail and slide it in. Now this will happen right at the very end by the tailgate side, and you can tell it's the tailgate side because of this latching mechanism right here. And we'll get 3 of these per side rail. So I'll slide this one to the other side, one roughly in the middle and one roughly on this end. Now normally, or what I did on the passenger side, is I just kind of twisted this into place under the bed rail and let the clamps grab on and tighten it down using the included Allen key. But on our driver's side, we've got this built-in handle, and that prevents you from doing that twisting motion. So what I actually did is completely removed the screws from the outer face and the other end of the clamp. That does mean that you'll need an extra set of hands to hold this for you. So I'll just set it in place. There's a small lip on the side rail that will set on top of your bed rail. The hook and loop will be facing out. I'll slide it as far as forward as I can and position those clamps loosely. So Tom's helping us by holding the side rail in place. I'm just going to feed the clamp up the exact same way we had it before whenever you saw it on the tailgate. And feed that on, get it lined up, and start passing the hardware through. And I'm going to tighten the ends first before going to that middle clamp. And there's no exact positioning for these. You just want it to be pretty much as far to the tailgate as it can go, as far to the cab as it can go, and then the middle one will split the difference somewhere between those. Once all the outer screws are tightened down, we can come to the lower ones and just snug those down. They're going to make contact on the underside of the clamp here and help bring the side rail level with the bed rail a bit more. So it doesn't need to be crazy tight. Just repeat that across all the clamps. When both side rails are in place, you can take the roll and just set it down towards the cab of the truck. So right over here, we'll see a track with this block on the end that has these ridges. Now, if we move forward to the side rail, we're going to see a slotted hole with some matching ridge shapes. Essentially, your 2 long bolts in the kit will drop down through that side rail and be held in place on that roll. So I'll install both sides, flip it over, and just drop it down through. Underneath, we can secure it with a flat washer and a flower nut. Just being sure to tighten that down all the way on both sides. And I'll follow that up finally with this barrel nut. That's basically just going to cover up the exposed threads of that bolt so that nothing snags on it. It just makes it a bit more smooth, so it's going to protect your stuff if it's in this area. With all the hardware tightened, we can unroll the cover and just test for fitment. It's going to be pretty loose right now as you're doing the initial unroll. That's fine. What I'm really checking for is that when we get to the very end here, we can feed this into the locking mechanism. And when we twist it and latch it, it goes relatively smoothly. It's got a nice snap to it. I can hear that latch engage, and I can just go back through on the sides, take the hook and loop and just make sure it's all laying flat. And the final fitment piece to check for is tailgate clearance. And everything's looking good for us there. I don't feel any resistance when I close it, and the same goes for opening it. I don't feel any sticking or resistance. And on our particular truck today with that multi-pro tailgate, if we wanted to just have this section open for maybe some elongated loads like lumber, we still could do that, and it's gonna work just fine with the tonneau cover, except for the part when you go to close it. That's a pretty common issue where you might just find that you have to give that a little bit of lift in order to close it, or open up the whole tailgate to reclose that section. But that'll do it for a look at and installation of this Leer soft roll-up tonneau cover on our 2024 Chevrolet Silverado 2500. Thanks for watching.